Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we have here 2013 BMW X1. What is this? X Drive, S Drive 28i. So this thing has a couple issues, and they're pretty important because obviously as you can see by the leak here, this thing has been leaking for a while. Right there, that's the valve cover leaking, valve cover gasket. But also another major issue is with almost every BMW I have seen, after a while, you know, because of the heat, the oil filter housing, which is this thing here connected to the core here, it'll start leaking between the gaskets, and you have one gasket that's on this side right here, and then you have another gasket between the core and the oil filter housing. So there are two gaskets that will need to be replaced. They usually come in a package, and it's very important to change these because not only we have this nasty leak, but there's another situation where the oil will leak through the gasket into the coolant, because right there the oil filter housing is pretty much about the only, well, that's one of several, but I think one of, like, let's say two places where coolant and oil can mix, or could mix if there's something wrong. And it's because the gasket's going so hard that either the coolant will leak inside the oil, or the oil will leak inside the coolant, and you will get this it's what it's called, milky substance inside your coolant. And the other failure that could happen is this actual oil core internally. I haven't really seen that much, a lot of these failings, so I always look for these signs of oil leaking on the outside, which is a pretty good indication that the gaskets have failed. They have hardened and they need to be replaced. So I'm going to show you how to replace these, and then we're going to do the valve covers on these 2-liter turbo engines N20. These are installed on a lot of different BMWs, so this video should be helpful for all you guys that have these 2 liters, in case you want to see what's going on, fix it yourself, this and that. So let's start. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to release the oil filter housing. I want to get it out of the way, or air filter housing. And we have these two 10mm bolts right here. Obviously you may have a different car, 3 series, 4 series, whatever. You can figure out what you need to take this you know, around here to make some more space. I need to get I already released this clamp here, so I'm going to try to remove this whole section out of the way because it'll be easier for me to work on this part here. You need to disconnect the MAF sensor, obviously, right here. And I already took this clamp on the bottom. Out. There we go. And this whole thing comes out together. And so I'm gonna leave this here for now. It's not in the way. So the way this housing works is you have we have 3 bolts connecting the oil filter or the oil core, 1 inverted Torx 2 and 1 3 here. I'm going to open this cooler first, and then I'm going to open the oil filter housing second. We need to get this cover out of the way, and there's some wires there that need to be unplugged from the valve cover, or not a valve cover, this is an engine cover. I don't think I can reach these like this. Let me see. Okay, I managed to disconnect one side. Let me see. Okay, second side. And something is still pulling on this. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to get this well, let's see what is getting in the way here. We have vacuum lines underneath. It's on the left side here. Okay. So, unfortunately, in order to get to this part here, of these vacuum lines, let me see if I disconnect the vacuum line. This should come out right here, so I will disconnect this part here. And as you heard, that was the vacuum, and going to come out. Nope, something is still stuck. Okay, we are going to have to remove this section here, this whole section, the cowl, in order to get to this valve or engine cover. So the way you disconnect this is you pull this rubber here, and it just needs to go up. There are 2 caps on each side. It's this one here and on the other side. There's a clip behind. Okay, here we go. It's this clip here and another clip in the front. Okay, and same way on the driver's side here, you have a clip right here and you have a clip behind. That's the clip behind. We take these 2. Actually, this is where your cabin filter is usually situated on these X1s. That's an AC. I think this is a dust air filter, cabin filter, and you need to open this space here if you want to change this filter. And it has 8mm bolts, one here, one here, one here, and the same way another one there. And you take this off, this air filter housing, cabin filter, again 8mm bolts right here in the front. Oh sorry, there's two on each side of this cap here. Always preserve these bolts because they're pretty rare. And you just lift it up, and that would be your cabin filter housing. And yeah, that's your cabin HVAC AC air cabin filter housing. Make sure you replace these every 10,000 miles. A lot of people don't really know that these exist, but as you can see, this is very dirty. This is what filters your air going to your AC right here. You see, that is inside is your fan. So that's their filter housing. You get it obviously, and you install this unclips from here. It goes like this, and then you install the new one back into the reverse order. And again, replace these every 10,000 miles, because otherwise you end up messing your AC and driving with a dirty filter. You will restrict the airflow. I mean, this filter is very, very nasty, as you can see. Every 10,000 miles, guys. I've made numerous videos about this issue. You need to replace these in order to keep your AC running in good shape. And in order to continue getting this off, it's this panel that connects right here. It runs right through here. As you can see, that's the line where this whole panel, the cowl panel, will come off. So you got two, usually there are two things connected electrically here on the top. It's this thing here, and this thing has a clip on the side and the front. This is the clip here. So you take this off. These will come off. That's normal because of the destruction of this tape. I'll leave it here for later. Maybe I'll put it back. On this side, you have one bolt that you need to take off. This is a 8mm right here. Also, be careful not to lose this bolt right here. And this will be the next thing connecting. This panel here is this rubber thing that you need to pull out on the left just to disconnect it. In the same way, we go to the other side. We got the 8mm here. And same way, we have to disconnect the sensor here. That's for the hood right here. Take the wire out of the way. And same way, there should be another thing here already. It looks like somebody had disconnected this and they never put it back here. And now all you got to do is just lift it up and lift up and forwards. towards the engine in order to take this out. So up and forward, and here we go. And this is what this is going to look like right here. And now we have access to this engine cover and the actual valve cover, because I'm going to need to replace the valve cover gasket on this engine. So we have these here, and here we go. This is how the cover is gonna come out. This is the whole cover coming out. So be careful with this material here. As you can see, this foam padding has disintegrated completely. I'm gonna throw this away, and this is a potential fire hazard. So very carefully I'm gonna lift this up and throw this away. So we have an easier access now to this oil filter housing, and let me see. Yeah, it's a much easier access. I can try to lift these two wires here. And try to use a 90-degree hook tool here to get these clips out, because they're gonna give you trouble. The clips holding these wires. I'm gonna actually probably disconnect this wire when I do the valve covers, because it's in the way here to touch the valve covers. But here for now, okay, there's another wire here. I'm gonna lift this one up too, and okay, just so it's out of the way. Working with a much cleaner space here. This is where these two meet. That's the filter housing here. So what we're going to do, I'm gonna clean this a little bit with brake cleaner first, because it's very dirty. I don't want this dirt inside the engine, because once we open this, we're gonna, once I remove this these bolts, the mounting bolts to the oil filter housing, the engine is going to open right there. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm just cleaning where the engine meets the oil filter housing. As you can see, now we can clearly see all the way down the line, and the back bolt right there that opens. It's this bolt here that opens that holds the housing, and this bolt is not in a good place. So I need to see how this. I believe I've taken this off on this engine before, and there was some kind of a deal that I think I had to remove the intake out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because that bolt is right here. It is in a really bad place. That's where the bolt is, right here. Okay, just remember that I think I've done this. Yeah, I've done this engine before, and I'm gonna have to disconnect a bunch of things before we can even get to that back bolt. So I'm going to disconnect a few more wires. This is one. And we have another one here holding the, I'm just gonna unclip this, the MAF sensor wire, and I'm gonna take this out here. The battery on this car is dead, so I don't have a problem disconnecting this ECU. So this one goes here, the first one. Then we have, so this first one is here, and I'm gonna put on the other side. Then you push this clip down here and you pull the handle down in order to disconnect these. Just like this. I'm gonna disconnect the second one. It's because of the way the handle goes. I need to go in order, otherwise they won't come out. The handle will not be able to slide down. And here we press down, we pull up. So this is out of the way. And yeah, the other thing is we need to remove this computer here, this ECU, because we need to gain access to the bolts holding the intake, because we have to release the intake in order to reach this back bolt here of the oil filter housing. So I'm gonna disconnect these two here too. And okay, got one here, two connectors here. Let's see, this needs to go forward, or no, it needs to go backwards. Okay, there we go, back and up. This is a vacuum line that I can disconnect from all the way here to the left. That's the vacuum line connected to the valve cover underneath. So this is out of the way, and these two clips here holding, you gotta press on the side and try to lift this up. One came out, come on. second one came out too. And there's a second thing here holding this. So these wires here, we cannot take these out because they're all connected, going to different places. All we need to do is just gain access to the bolts holding the intake, and these look like, I believe they were 11mm bolts, one here. They go all the way down to that last one there, but this has to come out too, and this comes out by these T30 Torx right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the back. Again, 4 T30 Torx. Take the ECU out of the way, and now we have clear access to all the bolts holding the intake manifold. As you can see, 1, 2, and you have now through the metal plate another one here. We'll have another one here inside here, right there, and then the last one is over there. All we have to do is just release those bolts so we can lift up the intake on this left side here, so we can gain access to the bolt, to the back bolt of the filter housing. So as I said, 11mm bolt, or actually those are mostly, yeah, they're actually nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and 5 is the last one there. So I'm gonna get a long extension and start taking these off because we need to release the intake. I would also advise you to get a magnet with you guys, so when you take this nut out, you don't lose these nuts. Here in the middle, they're not gonna fall because they're in a pretty tight space here. There we go. Actually, this one was almost loose. I would actually say it was loose. The second one from the front coming here was just very, very loose. So we got all of them out. There should be 5 of them, and we got 5. Obviously take them out and put them in your storage bin, whatever you have. As you can see, the intake is already moving. You should be able to get to this bolt now right here. All we need is just a little bit of a wiggle room, and just to show you where this bolt is, It's right here under the intake here, right here. So I'm gonna lift the intake a little bit. See, all you do is just lift it up a little bit and you get a clearance to get to this bolt. Now I'm gonna tell you a trick because I've been doing this for a while now and it seems to work with me. It's up to you whether you guys want to do it or not. Instead of using the inverted Torx, which I believe this would be a inverted Torx 10, I believe, I would use a normal 8mm socket, and this thing fits perfectly into these. As you can see, it doesn't even slip. I've been using this trick for a while and it has not failed me yet. I have not had a stripped bolt or anything, and it has helped me a lot. And in this case it will help me because there's not much space to use here in order to get to this bolt and use an inverted Torx socket. So I'm going to use this and you can see it's working. Okay. And as you can see, we have this bolt out, and I'm gonna pull this with a magnet, and here we go. So very easy trick, and like I said, it has worked for me. 8mm socket, it fits perfectly into these and it will take them out. Otherwise this would be an inverted Torx. I think it's inverted Torx 10. So we got the back one out, and what I'm gonna do here is, because we gotta take this out here, I'm going to disconnect this line and this coolant line here, these two lines, so that we have very easy access to this housing to get the whole thing out. And I'm going to use my hook tool in order to try to release this hose. The hose is good to go, and we try to pull this hose down. Here we go. Hose is out of the way, and we have this hose here that we just need to catch this clamp here, pull the clamp out. Here we go. And we need to shake this a little bit. If you can pull the clamp, just pull it out of the way so it doesn't jump on you guys and you end up losing the clamp. Let's see if this hose is going to move. It will move with a little bit of help. So here we go. And Let me install the clip back on this hose. And there's an issue here. I just touched the bottom part of this upper radiator hose, and this thing is just, it's bad. As you can see, the oil has been eating through the hose and it's separating, so this hose would have to be replaced. I'm actually replacing the radiator on this car too, so I'm gonna need to do the upper radiator hose most likely, and sometimes you have to do the lower one too. So I'm gonna need to order this hose in this case. And now this thing is actually ready to come off. We have 3 of these Torx. I believe these are 12 T12 or E12, whatever it is, the inverted Torx here for this cooler. I'm gonna release it first or separate it from the oil filter housing before I take the oil filter housing. Another trick with these, on these I have been using a 10 millimeter. Actually, I have enough space to use the normal inverted Torx, so that's what I'm going to use in this case. So these are, like I said, inverted Torx, E12 in our case, or sometimes I have used 10 millimeter normal socket to get these off too. We got one on the bottom here. And we got one on the right side. And then we got the one on the left. And you will see the gaskets in very bad shape. As you can see, the leftovers from the gasket here eating through the aluminum, and the actual gasket here, I'll show you the clear sign that this gasket is disintegrating. Is these pieces here. As you can see, the pieces, you see how smashed the pieces are. That gasket is actually supposed to be flat, coming in and out is supposed to be flat. Instead of this, the flatness became a 90-degree because the materials were compressed in this gasket and started disintegrating. So that is one gasket, and we'll have in a second, we need to continue taking some stuff off to get to the rest of this, because the oil filter housing now actually has to come off. We took the bolt in the back here, remember the one in the back. Now we have 2 more bolts. We have one here and we have one here. This one, because this one is a tricky one here, I'm going to use a normal wrench actually to get this off, because it will touch this hose here. Unless you're replacing this hose, don't ever touch this, because this one will crack on the way out. These are pretty much, if you have some mileage on your car, always replace this hose here, because this hose connects to the back of the water pump, and this plastic connector here to the cylinder head, or the head actually, always gets hot, and the plastic inside gets brittle and it starts disintegrating, and it'll start leaking from this hose. But if you don't want to, if you don't need to touch it, don't touch it. So we got 2 more bolts. And you know, again, another proof that this has been leaking for a while. As you can see, all this nasty grease, that's oil mixing with dirt on the outside. So here's the trick with the one that's pointing inwards towards the hose, because there's no way you can put an inverted Torx here. I'm gonna show you this trick. I'm gonna use this 8mm wrench, and very easily, as you can see, it fits here. All you have to do is just kind of get it loose, and from that point you can actually untie it by hand. At some point it should start spinning by hand, so you don't need to keep this tool or the wrench in there. It may touch the hose, so in that case we're gonna need to, yeah, it's gonna be too long. So the next trick is we need to disconnect this housing and lift it up, and the bolt holding on the top is this bolt here. I'm gonna use my 8mm socket, but that's a E10 inverted Torx 10. So remove this thing, and we now have the space to lift this up and remove the bottom bolt out. And here we go. And here's the next gasket smashed up and leaking through here. But the issue is you have coolant section and oil sections. So when this thing gets so bad and becomes plastic, these liquids will transfer into one, you know, either one into the other one or the other one into the first one. So remember, guys, always install a good amount of grease on your gaskets before you install it back, like the gaskets, the seal between the oil filter housing and the engine, or the head of the engine, and this one here going to the actual cooler right there. So always make sure you install this to preserve this gasket. I have shown other videos that by doing this will help this seal to last a much longer time, and it would not be destroyed by the heat or the elements of coolant, oil, whatever. So don't forget to do this to make sure you've done the job properly. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. Please share your comments in the comment section, your questions, anything. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. I'll see you in the next one. Please hit that subscribe button and the like buttons, because this will help me run this channel, and so you know, I can upload more videos so you can get help with your DIY projects. Again, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.